Welcome to Inside the Creative Mind, where passion meets purpose and creativity takes center stage. Each episode features powerful conversations with musicians, artists, writers, and creators, sharing their stories, struggles, and breakthroughs behind their craft. Now, let's welcome your host, Brian Jones.
Hey everybody, it is Saturday, and you know what that means. Today, we welcome Laucean, an artist whose progressive metal music blends power, emotion, and atmosphere. But beyond just his music, Laucean has a deep passion for oceans, animal rights, and environmental preservation. Tune in today as we explore his creative journey, the causes that inspire him, and peel back the layers to go inside the creative mind of Laucean. Laucean, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brian, for inviting me to your podcast and the season 2.
Okay, Laucean, before we get started, I want to share a little brief story with the audience. This happened to me last night when I was trying to set up my new iPhone, which, according to the lady on the chatbot, said this was going to be a super easy peasy project. I just set the phones next to each other, follow the app, no problemo. That's not what happened to me. I actually spent, I'm going to say 3.5 hours on this project. It was way longer and took way more patience than I thought. So if you've had experiences like this, let me know, because I don't know if I'll ever buy a phone again. I was so traumatized getting my passwords and everything back in line. Laucean, have you ever experienced something like this? Please tell me I'm not the only one.
I bought my last iPhone 2 years ago, and I had so many pictures and videos from gigs and events. Since that event, now I try to be a minimalist, digital minimalist, because we have so many pictures that we don't look at. I mean, you have maybe your meals, some things, screenshots. So now I try to just reduce my screen consumption, and also pictures. So I was in Poland for holidays, and sometimes I was like, okay, this church is very beautiful, but do I need to take so many pictures? So I just take the most important. So I don't know for my new iPhone, but it should be shorter. And even for Laucean, so for my music project, I try to say, okay, is it very important to keep it on my hard drive? And often it's no, because it's been maybe 3 years I haven't opened this file, and it must be in the bin.
Yeah, it's like I thought this would be a 30-minute process, but I mean, I was panicking because I had all these passwords I had to go look up and relog on, and it's like, now you need to change your password. So anyway, I just thought if anybody's listening today and they've went through this trauma, reach out, because we can start a organization for traumatized iPhone. But anyway, I came here today actually to talk to you, not about my iPhone. So you're an interesting guy. And as I started kind of peeling back the layers of who Laucean is, I learned a lot about you. I do a lot of this, pre-interview, I guess, stalking, if you will. I'm kind of a professional stalker. And you had a lot of really interesting things, but I think I'm going to let you start this for listeners discovering Laucean for the first time. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, like maybe where you're from and how your musical journey began?
Yeah, it could be long, so I will try to be very short about it.
Sure. Take as long as you want.
There are many things to tell. So first, so my music project is Laucean, but my first name is Laurent. So a French name. I'm from Belgium. So for people who doesn't know Belgium, maybe in USA, so it's a small country divided in 3 areas. So you have the Dutch part, the French part, and the German part. So I'm in the French one. So I'm not French, I'm Belgian. And I love so many things. So it's not a secret. I've ADHD things, so I can have many passion. But the most important is music. From the beginning, I've been playing the piano since I was 6. I loved, and I still love, composing music. I love recreate music from films, things I can hear from the radio. And all the passion besides is, about nature, holidays in many countries. So I was lucky to go to New Zealand, Iceland, many other countries. So very inspired by the nature and also ocean. So my brother loves ocean, and he's been also lucky to dive into South Africa, to many countries, and see sharks, whales. And when we watch documentaries, there are so many problems because of global warming, the meat consumption, all the problem that we can see now on TV. And so very early, I was a teenager. I wanted to do something. So this is why I've been activist in animal rights. So about when I was 18, so I stopped eating meat and fish. I try to reduce my consumption. So like did that on my phone, so many things. My only issue is a plane. I only take the plane one a year, sometimes one every 2 years, but it's too much for the earth if we want to respect it's too much of pollution. But the goal is, I really love music, nature, animals. And after 10 years of activism in animal rights, I saw that the impact was too small. You protest in the streets, you block slaughterhouse, you try to stop stop fishing the protected areas and all the things. You have NGO that try to say, let's do another things like Sea Shepherd or maybe, WWF. So you see with the panda logo.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about, and let's try music. So I was inspired by many metal bands. You have Heaven Childburn, they are vegan. You have Me, the singer is also vegan. Beside metal music, you have Moby. Moby is a very great activist about that. But it's not about ocean. It's all the time about cows, chickens, maybe wildlife, in forest, but it's not about ocean. Ocean are forgotten since all the time. It's like it's resources under the water. And when I stopped eating meat, it was above all fish, because we do destruction in the ocean, and the impact will be very huge in the future. And I was so worried about that yes, I wanted to make music about that. So it took a long time because, as I said, I was 6. So I studied, piano, organ, harpsichord, singing in churches. And I studied for 10 years music. And then after metal discovery, so about my 18 and the time I was vegan, I have a long journey. And as I said, with my ADHD, it was complex to just finish one song, just one. And I wanted my album, I wanted to make many gigs, but it's not easy. And one friend said, just begin by one song, just one song, finish that, even if it's not perfect, because I'm a big perfectionist. And this is why the journey begins in 2024. Wow. I wanted to do something, and then we let the other question to come. But
that's crazy.
2024 has been the day that I begin Laucean.
Wow. So the name Laucean, was that just something you took from your actual name, or is it a blend of something, or, because I can hear the word ocean somewhere in there, so I'm just guessing, but can you tell us how you came up with that to be the name?
You're right. It's really about that. So I wanted my name to be the ocean, but it's taken by a band not in Germany, but I have the name Autriche, Österreich. So after that, I wanted to call L'Océan like in French. So it's Laucean. But I was a friend that's been taken after that, or someone has the same name. And someone said, but your name is Laurent. why don't you do the key, the play word, the keyword, like that with low, like Lau, and the Cein. So I say, oh yeah, it's right. And I'm not good at find the good name.
Yeah.
So
You're not a marketing person, right? You're a
no,
musician.
I'm musician, and I'm so perfectionist that is it the good thing? Because my goal is to play on stages and gigs.
Mm-hmm.
So how will I transform it to the band, live band? Then I say, okay, let's do the thing, and you will see. So this is why it's been a solo project for the first singles, the album, and the EP. And now I have guys very motivated to play with me. And so we try to do the things, the music after together. And even if I'm, they say that the big boss, I don't like it, but
Yeah.
I'm the guy behind this project. They say, you have your rights. Your music right. You're the owners of all the songs.
Sure.
This is you that introduced the ocean issue, the ecological impacts, and all the things. And also, they're very shy, so they want me to show my face on Instagram and YouTube. So you see all the time my face, but behind we are many people because there are two guys, so a drummer and a bassist. So they replay the songs I compose now, but you have also the audio engineer, woman who realize all the artwork. You have the people for all the bills, the tax, the things, because I wanted to make my own vinyls and CDs. So I have companies who accepted to produce my music on physical format. So behind just an idea, this is why I really love this project. I was afraid not to do great things. And with my ADHD and all the difficulties I get, in my job and relationship, by this project, I'm growing up. I learned so many things about music industry, about how to make good music, marketing, communication. And when you have no labels, you just have to do the work lonely. You don't have the choice. Even for the video, for all the things, for 2 years and now close to 3, I learned so many skills and jobs that I couldn't discover without Laucean.
It takes a village. I think for people who are starting solo projects, first of all, you've got the equipment, right? The expense, and I can hear it in your segment here as you're talking. There's microphones, there's DAWs, there's keyboards, there's digital interface. There's all these things that we use, to develop. Usually our first attempt's pretty rough, and then we learn how to mix and master. And for me, I use Studio One PreSonus. That's just the DAW I use, but so many people use different platforms and different things. But that experimentation time frame can be 6 months if you're really talented, or it could be 6 years. So I think when you go from I'm sitting in my own house playing with the DAW, learning it, mastering it, then you evolve into kind of what you're doing now. You're looking for, and I've been through this personally, where you want to bring in other musicians. You evolve to the point where now you want, hey, this guy's a better guitar player than me. I'd rather have him doing the guitar part, or this person's a better keyboard or drummer, so-and-so. And then you start to develop these projects. And that evolution, I think there's a switch that flips, right? Where you go from this one person that has total control, kind of like what you said, and then you have to step back a little bit, and it's uncomfortable because you now are introducing other inputs from other people. So, how have you navigated that? And have you been reluctant to give up some of that leadership and more open to other input?
It's very complex. At the beginning, I wanted to do everything by myself. This is a big mistake. If there are artists who band who listening to that, just don't do things alone. So when there was the COVID time in 2020, incredible year, I was in my home and I wanted to make actions. So I bought, as you said, gears, the new keyboard, the new monitoring, the new sound card, 2,000 euros, 1,000 euros. You buy the new 8-string guitar from Meshuggah. This is why I've got such a huge sound. And I wanted to mix everything by myself. So I subscribed to Nail the Mix, this American platform for metal music. And as you said, for 2 years, I used to learn mixing and mastering. And after realizing the work, I was like, it's not as good as I would like. I listened to other bands and it doesn't sound as I want it.
Yeah.
And I read a book about how to manage a project. And the first thing is try to collaborate with other people because you can't achieve some experiences by yourself. So I was at an Antiferum gig. So I'm a big fan of Antiferum, but also very other bands, but from Finland. And a guy said, yeah, I've got an audio engineer from Quebec. He mixed for Arcane and other bands.
Wow.
So I give you the contact. And this is how I started We Are Flinks, my first song. But I was very disappointed. I paid more than 400 euros and I was not happy with my song. I mean, it was better than what I was used to do, but not enough. And so you learn from mistake, from you experimenting the things. And then I was not on Instagram, Facebook didn't work at all. I mean, there was nobody to listen to my music. And people said, go to Instagram. And I'm like, yeah, I'm 30 years. Maybe I'm too old for this kind of platform.
Sure. Well, I'm 58, so still doing it. Hang in there.
And once I subscribed, there were more than 100 people in a few days. I've been surprised. And there was a community, and Oscar, so it's my sound engineer from Sweden, said, I'm an independent audio engineer. My price are okay. I listened to your single and I'm ready to do the other ones. We tried Adieu and then L'Oiseau Libre. And the sound was so huge. I mean, loud as I like, the shoegaze part, all was respected, even the piano, because I compose all my songs from the piano. So it was very important, the backbone of the song. And he respected all that. This is why now we work together. We evolve together because he was beginning new songs and me too. And this is why singers are good. The debut album is very good. And the EP was awesome for me because we just evolve and we know each other perfectly. You know what I want to achieve.
Isn't that a good place to be I don't mean to interrupt you, but when you get the right guitar player, you get the right mixer, it's almost like a soul bond. It's like, okay, I found my guitar player. And it makes you understand what each other want more, but you also appreciate their input because they know what you're trying to achieve. And because they're better at one element of the final product, their input just takes it to another level of greatness. And I'm often surprised that when I step back and let somebody who's really good at one thing, I hold on to those guys forever. Like I will do anything to keep that relationship healthy. Are you the same way?
Well, Oscar is now my best friend. We talk very often about, our lifestyle, about our passions. This is the same for the artwork. I was doing all that by Canva and AI stuff, even if I don't like it. I don't like AI, but
nobody does really.
But for the beginning, I'm not good doing, artwork. And on Instagram, I discovered the painting from Crick. So this is the artist in France. And I say, okay, I've got an album to do, to make, and I need someone to paint all the things. And she say, I'm a big fan of metal music, but I've never done it. And so we worked for 6 months together for so for the cover, so for the vinyl, because you have the lyrics, you have the book inside the digipack, we have the logo, we have so many details. So, and this is, one person, and so after that, you say, okay, I want vinyl. So you contact companies. And so this is really a long story. You meet many people and gigs. And then the most surprising things is when you go to a gig and someone knows you, but you don't know him or
Yeah.
her.
That's a cool feeling, though.
It's Laucean. Okay, but
Yeah.
are you? I follow you since the beginning. Okay.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
So it's I'm shy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say, but I'm very happy that they love my work after all the months and the years, and also the money, because the debut album was, I mean, cost a lot.
Yeah.
6,000 euros only for the merch, and you spend all your money, your time, and so now I try to just do promotion, because artists are not good at promotion.
Yeah.
So now I've got my songs and I want to play on stages. I want to play at festival. Both in Belgium, I have two dreams. It's a Grass Pop Festival and an Alcatraz Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Alcatraz is next week. I go for more than 10 years at this festival, and I hope that, to play just, even if I'm the first band at midday, just play there.
As long as you get on stage, right?
Yeah, just play on stage, meet the people, and share good moment with the physical products, and that they can have in their home and listen to music, because streaming is good, but I'm a nostalgic guy. I prefer the physical format because you own the music. You don't just rent something on the streaming platforms.
I got a question for you. That's funny, because when I listen to you talk about getting ready for this first stage performance, so I kind of started in reverse. So when I was young back in the 80s, I started on the stage. I started performing with rock bands, and we traveled all over, and it became second nature. I didn't know that I should be nervous, or I didn't know that I should be anxious. I just did it. Now, today, and you look behind me, this studio, I record everything from home with my friends and fellow musicians, much like you're doing now. So it was reversed. So my question is, how do you think you're going to feel when you get on that stage and there's all these people looking at you, and you plug in your guitar, you hope your amp's right, you can hear through your monitor, you can hear yourself singing. It's, there's a lot of things going on, and you got to be natural at the same time. You got to move. You can't stand there like a mannequin, So are you ready? You think you're ready mentally? Do you practice in front of the mirror? You know what I'm saying? Walk us through what your thoughts are.
I think that it should be okay, because when I was so I say conservatoire, so music academy. I don't know if we can say conservatoire.
Yeah.
But for 10 years, I got exams in front of a jury, in front of public. I played in churches because I played organ for many years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not afraid of being in front of the people. I just want them to feel a good moment. It's not about the performance, but about how they can feel the songs. If they can feel the same thing than when I compose the song like Adieu, about the grief, about apocalypse, it's about global warming. So it's more about the emotion, because my music is not metal. Like, you have a death metal band and they just play many groove things, and you don't have also a rock band. It's like between. And I hope that people will understand the concept, because I know I'm in a niche. It's very a niche. And in French lyrics, I know that, it's quite, I'm not in the mainstream things. And my songs are very long too. So it's very progressive, about 5 to 7 minutes. So the first gig is in November. We have 40 minutes to play, and maybe we could play 5 songs.
Yeah. Where most people would play long. Like 25, right?
So 40 minutes. So we are discussing about which one to choose. So we just see the streaming performances. So we know which one to play, and also the complexity, because there are new members. They try to learn the things from my debut album, and there are some songs quite complex, because you have polyrhythmic things, you have complex riff. So we try to begin by the easiest, and then we take the other ones.
It's really different in the studio, because we have carte blanche to kind of do what we want in the studio. We can make something as complex as we want. and just overdub and overdub and overdub. But then, when we go out, people kind of expect to hear what they heard on Spotify or YouTube or how you
Yeah.
promoted it. So you got to sometimes, but this is true for even the biggest bands, you have to dumb it down a little bit. You have to put it more in layman's terms where
Yeah.
some of those elements are going to be missing, but the drive and the feeling you still want to represent. So you have to kind of pick and choose, right?
Yeah. It's also about when I compose the songs, I just recorded layer by layer. So the singing, then the bass, then the guitar. At the beginning, I had to play the bass. I have a 6-string bass because it's simpler to sing with that. But my friend is bassist. So I had to play my 8-string guitar better than what I used to do. So now it's been 1 year. I play very often my 8-string guitar, and I sing at the same time to be ready on the stage because normally it was not like that. And also for the moment, the drummer will join us on September. So we have the backtrack, we have the system, the hearing monitoring, the e-monitoring. Yeah. So everything is ready. So if the drummer is not okay, we play two of us and we join after, but it's ready. Yeah, let's go in November. So
the drummer's gonna get a physical workout with 5-minute songs. You're gonna have to get him a towel to wipe the sweat off, especially on an outdoor gig. So I wonder, when you start to have success, and I'm sure you will with your live performances, sounds like you really planned it out and thought it out well. When you start to think about new music, like 2026 and beyond, would you think about, okay, now that we're doing these live shows, maybe we better remove some elements that were challenging for us to do live and maybe simplify the music where we're still getting our message and we're still doing our progressive metal, shoegaze, all
we'll
those
see.
elements. Yeah, I mean, how do you
But
feel? Do you think moving forward you might simplify the sound?
not at all.
Not at
I
all.
will try
Okay.
to make it shorter to play more songs on stages, but about the complexity and the way of composing, this is something I mean, it was on my mind for so many years. To be honest, when I was composing songs, so it was already shoegaze and metal without I knew it. And once I've been to metal gigs and it was assessed. I didn't know him in 2008. So
Wow.
it's been, a long time. And I met him and I told him, it's crazy. I play songs and you have the same kind of music than me in French lyrics. So now people say, okay, Laucean was inspired by Alcest's band. Not exactly. I mean, yes, inspire me, but not I want 100% because I play. I mean, I play piano, I play many guitars, I play many things. And the thing was to L'Océan is many layers. So it's first the piano. All songs are composed from the piano from the beginning to the end. This is why you have all the things. Then you have the rhythmic guitar with the A-string guitar from the Meshuggah to get, like a giant sound, something that may push.
Oh, yeah. The
very loud.
drive.
Yeah. You have this layer above. So this is the shoegaze part. So it's a riff with a cycle. This is repetitive. And this is how people, this is something when I go to a metal gig, you can't sing lyrics. You can't sing a chorus. And my concept is when you get out, you have to get at least one song on your mind. So the layer guitar have to do this with the clean singing. And even if it's in French, to tell an anecdote. So my when I composed the EP, my sound engineer was singing one of my songs. So Laissez-moi respirer, and he said, "Okay, I had a shower and I was singing your song." So for me, it's like, okay, I won because he's Swedish. He couldn't know even one word in French.
Yeah.
And it was, he said, this was all the time on my mind. And even foreigners, people, they say, okay, this is the thing. So you have the metal part, but the chorus must be, like something you can do on your radio or that you can sing by yourself.
Yeah, it's funny. I think it's interesting when I look at your music. I'm going to kind of go back because I got to watch our time a little bit. But when I look at your new EP and I'm thinking about all the people in the US that don't know French, I translated it on Google like so many of us do. So the new EP that dropped kind of April 17th this year,
Mm-hmm.
the English translation, and correct me if I'm wrong, is Until Your Last Breath.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you say that in French because I want to connect the dots to the audience of how to say that in French.
Jusqu'à ton dernier souffle.
Yeah, see, that's way harder.
Yeah.
But I
the
think
first
it's
album
beautiful.
was, Ces êtres oubliés. So the
Yeah.
forgotten beings, and Jusqu'à ton dernier souffle, Until Your Last Breath. Funny thing, when I released my EP, Arcane Me, 1 week ago, released a single called Until Your Last Breath.
Figures. It figures.
We composed the same thing, but it was in French for me. But when I saw it on Spotify after 6 months of work, I was like, hey, this is my title.
Yeah, I've seen that happen to a lot of artists. It's happened to me. And you know what I've started doing, Laucean, is I'll Google the title that I have and I'll say, are there other songs that are named the same thing? And then I started taking that step because the same things, I think it happens to every musician. The music industry is so saturated and there's so many titles that fit what you're trying to do, but somebody's already snagged it. There's billions of titles out there. But we are.
It's in French, so.
Yeah, that's true. So that gives you a little extra room. So you're already working on your second album, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
So what can you share about the direction or the new material for the future album?
So to summarize up, so the first album was many songs from the past. So I had my free single, and then the work with Oscar, so my audio engineer, was so good that I was ready to release an album. So I composed 5 more about ocean, grief. There were many subjects. Then the album was good, but I could do better. I learned from my mistakes. I learned from my experiences. I know what I wanted or not. And I wanted to release a second album, and people said, no, it's too early. You have to wait, do the promotion, do the gigs. But I had so many ideas. There was lots more songs on my hard drive. And it was about one subject and sharks. So this is why I wanted to talk about fin sharks. There are more than 100 million sharks taken from the ocean. We just cut the fin and we push it on the ocean and it dies. Very, very cruel. And I was like, he's a predator and we are predators. Why not create a communion between two species? This is why the woman on the artwork fights for the shark until his last breath. And the shark is being killed by the fisherman and try to survive until the last breath. And it's like, love songs about how to share our words between species until the last breath, the values, the things. So the sentence was all the time there. And so when I was writing, it was very easy to do compared to the album. The second album, to answer the question, so when I wanted to do the first album, the debut one, I wanted something that every people can listen to, not something that is too loud or too in-depth metal or things like that. But I've got an A-string guitar, so it will be darker. It will be about downward and the abyss, very things in brutality. So this is why you've got 3 chapters. The first one is for everyone. The EP is between the 2 words, and the second album I can't say more than it will be above the abyss, but it will be at least one story from one to the last song, like chapters that you can read, as if you're reading a book. Because the first album, my mistake was there are many songs about many subjects, and it's not one line, one red line. So the second album is about that. The only problem I've got is money.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money, lots of energy. So the goal is to make gigs for the end of the year and 2027. And it will depend with the two other members, if we compose together or if I compose by myself, as I did for all the songs. And then if we do a crowdfunding part on Ulule, because I did it for the physical products or not, if we do vinyls, CDs or not, only digital. So it's lots of subjects on the table, but probably, and I hope that it will be at the end of 2027.
That's awesome.
At least we have the time to compose from January to May. We do the promotion and the crowdfunding campaign until August. And then from September to December, we can choose which release date we've got. And we have all this year to promote for the magazine, the newspaper, because it was also a mistake. An artist must listen to it. You have to write to the magazines, to the journalists, the newspaper, because it's very good to release an album. But if nobody knows it, you've got just zero stream. And
you should come on a podcast.
Yeah. So, you have to communicate, because artists don't do it. I saw many bands, they say, okay, we have new album, listen to on Spotify, but they didn't do anything before that for months. And after that, it's too late. So for the second album, I want to take time to do it, maybe not perfectly, but as best as we can, because we don't have labels, we don't have support from the big media, so we have to do it step by step, good quality, and we don't have to be
take your time.
We don't hurry up. Take your time, take it easy.
I want to circle back to the Sharks for just a minute, because I don't think people really understand the great. You deserve a lot of credit for your advocacy on the environment, especially when it comes to sea creatures. So I was Googling some information, and it was mind-blowing to me, because I knew I was going to be talking to you today. But according to what I read, and this comes from like the Marine Stewardship Council, so they know what they're talking about. But about 38.5 million tons of unwanted sea animals. Now, this includes sharks and turtles, but they're caught and wasted annually. 38.5 million tons. So if people don't think that's environmentally costly, they just aren't aware of what overfishing of the oceans is actually doing to the planet. It's amazing that you're shining a light with your music and through your passion for music and kind of putting that spotlight not just on yourself, but you're putting it on a cause that really needs some extra attention. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you. But when it was, at the early 2000, I was watching the documentaries, and they say you have to do something, you have to reduce your consumption of meat and things like that. You do it by yourself, but you see that people don't care at all. And when I visited many countries, so in New Zealand, South Africa, Iceland, you have whale hunting, you have overfishing, you see big industries. And if we have to save something, it's the ocean, not the forest. So it's not that it's more important, but ocean brings more oxygen than the forest. You see how it regulates the heat, the temperature. You see how it affects the world. And an ocean without fish is a disaster. And we have the choice to say, I don't want it. So some countries can't. In Africa, in Asia, you see poverty, and it's complex. But in USA, Europe, and many countries like Brazil, Australia, you just go to shop. And so it's now 13 years I eat only vegetables, and so I'm not 100% vegan. I'm like vegetarian and
Sure.
vegan, so I don't eat. So as I said, meat and fish and seafood, but it's more about eggs and milk. I don't consume it at home, but in the society today, it's complex. Yeah, you don't have all the time the vegan option, so I do it maybe 90% of the time. But the 10% left, sometimes you don't have the choice
You got to start
to
somewhere, and
do. But
everybody's
the
got to do
point
their
is,
part.
the ocean is very important, and we don't talk about it because we can't see what's in the under ocean. And the fish net. You go to just sometimes. So I walk on the sand in France or Belgium. We have many coast, and you see fish nets everywhere. You see plastic. You see dead fish because the fish. The fishing industry is very important, but it's too far away. It's like slaughterhouse. We can't see. There are no windows, so we don't know what. We know it's wrong. We know it's crude. There are cruelty, but it's like, okay, it's not my choice that we change something. But maybe you won't change the society, but you will change some live beings.
Yeah.
And this is the most important. Even if it's one life, just one animal, you save it.
Now, I applaud you for your cause. So we are out of time, but I did want to ask you one last question before we wrap up. When people listen to your music today, when they listen to Laucean for the first time, what do you hope that they're going to take away from your sound?
It's about, as I said, feeling something. So maybe, so when my songs are about grief. So I live bad moments about losing someone or an animal. 2 weeks ago, I lost my cat after 10 years. So it's about a message of hope that life continues even if it's very terrible what is happening. So this is the point of grief. And we talk about planet, animals, is to get compassion. Just live with other people. We don't care about the origin of the people. We don't care about, we are all beings. We try to live a good life for everyone, for every species, and it's very message of so I point the disasters, but at the end of my song, it's all the time positive.
Yeah.
Even on my EP, it's a love song. It's a very quiet one. On my album, the 2 last songs are about hope. And one of the song is called L'Espoir and means hope so from French. So it's really about feeling melancholic things, sadness, but not only. There are all the time light behind. And even if you feel that in the end it's not, because values are the most important. Even when it's dark, you're like the Donald Trump, Putin, you see all the bad news, and just say that you do your best. You meet people, you just do ecological things, you do things in your garden, you try to be respectful to other people. And this is really the message of compassion, altruism, things like that. So for metal music is it's like surprising.
Yeah.
Because it's very loud. And I read the French lyrics. It was a question in your message, is French lyrics a problem? Not really. I think that just by the title or the things I can say, people can, they guess what it's about. And even if they can't get it from the song, I do many reels and stories on my social media. They know that it's about ocean animal, even if they don't understand all the sense. As you said, the EP is about shark, but it's not about shark at all. It's about even the connection between species and ocean and all the things that are around us, but we don't see.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I've learned so much from you today, and I wish we had 2 more hours to sit here and talk, because I don't know if you know this, I'm a huge advocate for the environment. I'm an environmental engineer. I've been doing it for 30 years, where I reduce carbon footprints for large companies, and it's really important to me. So again, I applaud you for your efforts and shining that spotlight. Laucean, thanks so much for coming on the show today. We learned a lot. There's a lot more we could talk about.
Yeah, for 2 hours at least.
Yeah. Oh, we could go along. I mean, you could probably just grab a cup of coffee and go for another 2 hours. But my man, thanks for coming on today. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. And we're waiting for some new music. Everybody's excited to support you and stay a part of our community on the podcast, because we might have you on again next year. Talk about what you've been up to. We think you're a super interesting guy, and I will certainly be following your new music as well. So thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for listening to Inside the Creative Mind with Brian Jones. Keep exploring, keep creating, and don't forget to tune in for the next 30 minutes of inspiration, streaming on all platforms. Your next spark of creativity is just a play button away.